Hey growers, it's Lucas, and you know what this means. Harvest time. The squirrels may have got all my tomatoes, or at least most of them, but they didn't get any of my hot peppers. So I've got two varieties growing here. I've got the Carolina Reaper and the Hot Pepper Lantern Habanero. The habanero is not too bad. It's pretty hot, but it's not nearly as wicked as the Reaper over here. This one, I wouldn't eat it. I mean, I would eat a little piece, but that's about it. I know I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Okay, this is a perfect example of what a Carolina Reaper is supposed to look like. It's got the beautiful stinger tail, kind of corkscrewed, and it's symmetrical. I've got a couple more Reapers that look like they're ready to be picked. This one right here, this one actually is possibly an even better specimen than the one I just showed you. Winner. So just look at that thing, wicked. It's got the stinger tail. It's actually quite a bit bigger than the other one, but it's perfectly symmetrical. And this one is definitely going to be a seed saver for future generations of Carolina Reapers. So overall, this Reaper plant right here didn't do the best. And that's my fault because I kind of neglected it throughout the season. I should have watered it more and fertilized it better. I should have added compost to the soil when I first started at the beginning of the season, but I didn't. And you can see the leaves are starting to yellow. That's kind of to be expected at this time of year because it's September. The plants start to slowly die back, but it hasn't been as productive as it could have been. It's not as big and bushy. Believe it or not, these things can get huge. I mean, apparently these plants can get up to 4 feet wide and 4 feet tall, which is amazing.
Wow.
Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably eyeing up this plant in the background. This is a beauty. It is a Hot Pepper Lantern Habanero, as I mentioned at the start. And you can see it's just full of peppers. And I've grown this one before. This is not my best plant. Again, I didn't treat these plants like I should have. They were slightly neglected, but it still produced a bumper crop of hot habanero peppers. These ones are a little longer than your average habanero that you would see in the supermarket. Of course, they're red. And this is one, I think this is 4th generation. So I saved the seeds 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been growing them every season and just taking the seeds from the best ones to grow new plants next year. It really just amazes me how productive these Hot Pepper Lantern Habanero plants are. These ones are supposed to be high producers even in northern climates. So if you have a bit of a cooler climate like me, then you should be able to get top production off these plants. You can see these plants do get quite big. I'd say it's about 4 feet in diameter. And if I had to estimate, I'd say there's probably close to 100 pods on this one plant. And I've been supporting this one and the Carolina Reaper with a peony cage. So this is meant for supporting peony flowers, but it works well with peppers, especially the super hot peppers because they get really wide and bushy compared to other varieties of peppers. I had some branches that were starting to become overladen with peppers and they were starting to fall down. So to prevent breakage, I actually just took some twine and I made kind of a sling around the branch and just tied it onto this cage, just propping it up. And it also started to lean a bit to one side, so I did use some more twine here. You can see right now it's not doing too much, but this plant was leaning, and just using the resources you have available to keep your plants growing upright is going to help make sure that they're more productive and obviously nice to look at. You don't want a crooked pepper plant, or maybe you do. I don't know. Who am I to judge? So here we've got a really nice specimen of a Hot Pepper Lantern Habanero. These ones are typically a little shorter than this. This is a pretty long one, but just really nice peppers. You can actually eat these ones and they're gonna burn, don't get me wrong, but they're a lot milder than the Carolina Reaper. So they're a lot hotter than a jalapeno, but they won't kill you. Well, they might. Full disclosure, I'm not legally responsible for anything you do with peppers. Be very careful, very, very careful. And when you cut these things, do yourself a huge favor and don't touch your eyes because you'll get juice in your eyes. That stuff is gonna burn, it's gonna sting, your eyes are gonna hurt like heck, and you'll be temporarily blinded for probably at least 20 to 30 minutes. I know this from personal experience, so just Be careful, wear gloves when you're cutting peppers. Hot peppers are really fun to grow. I don't grow them to eat them. I grow them because I think they just look really neat. The plants are cool, they're productive, they're ornamental. Yeah. So you can see I got a nice bowl of fresh hot peppers from the garden in my front yard. And I really cleared house on that hot pepper lantern habanero. The Reaper has some more pods that still need to ripen up, but you guys are probably wondering what that clown thing is behind me. Well, I'm gonna show you, okay? So this is a prop I have for my Halloween display. You might be wondering, Lucas, does it do anything? And the answer is yes and no. Well, it's supposed to do something. The mouth is supposed to move like this, and it's supposed to say scary phrases and move back and forth, kind of like this, but the electronics for the motor is not working anymore, unfortunately. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this pepper video. I love growing hot peppers. I love growing any fruiting crops, tomatoes, sweet peppers, hot peppers, cucumbers, pumpkins, basically any fruiting crop. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. And look out for my book. It's going to be coming out hopefully within the next year. But don't hold your breath on that one. My name's Lucas, and I'll see you next time.